And I okay. And so yeah, so I don't know, I was just kind of thinking about like, oh, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, so just trying to, like I said, I'm a joiner. I thought it'd be a great sense way to get to know people a bit more, and kind of look for part of the community and stuff. One of my biggest takeaways, two, I guess, one is like to really be authentic. And it just like it's so important. And I never felt that others weren't being authentic, but I think trying to figure out how coaching works in my life and what that looks like and what does that mean for me, and making sure that that feels right, and just hearing like people that were speaking, the presenters, or the other girls, other coaches, just everyone being like, be yourself, and seeing people that doing that was just like action speaking louder than words, people just being themselves, which was huge. And then this phrase that just keeps like swirling in my head is borrowing someone's faith until you find it in yourself. And like, I think that's super important because you don't always have that motivation or that faith in yourself, or whatever it might be, but borrowing that what someone else sees in you. I mean, a lot of us have kids, not everybody, but like you have faith in your kid that they're going to get it, and they're borrowing that from you. But like, do the same thing in any relationship, whether it be a spouse or at work or with girlfriends or whatever it is. One of the presenters was saying that she was at her first summit, and her friend leaned over and was like, "You're going to be on that stage one day." And then she's like a gazillion time star diamond, fancy pants, whatever. But because she borrowed her friend's faith and in herself. And I just thought that was just really amazing. So that was a really big takeaway, to borrow and to lean into each other. And again, I'm a big community type person, so that really hit home. And then some unexpected things that I learned. Obviously Beachbody is a business, and stuff, as a lot of things are, but truly how servant based each speaker was shocking. Like, I mean, I shouldn't say shocking, but it was just like, it was refreshing, might be a better word, of like how truly everyone was like, does this serve you? Does this help others? Is this authentic? Is this true to yourself? Like that overwhelming theme that was in everyone's talks was just like amazing. And then being of service to ourselves, to each other, what fills us up, what can we give to others, was just like, oh, and by the way, it's a great healthy lifestyle. It was just like, it was amazing. Like, truly none of it was get your numbers, and stuff. And I was kind of expecting an element of that, being like a summit kind of conference, and I was just so blown away that that was like not even mentioned, let alone a focus point, like, at all. It was all servant based and filling each other up, and it was really good. And then this I hadn't expect, or I guess an unexpected thing I learned was how much I didn't know or understand my own why, which is kind of crazy because I've been a part of this for a long time, and kind of just like having the typical like, okay, lose 10 pounds, be healthier for my family, which are all great things. However, that's not going to keep me going at the end of the day, and stuff. And like, what really is that why and what that looks like. And so I did some homework and stuff, and I wrote down like, some different things, and really spent some time with that. So kind of not really realizing like how weak that why was in some ways, of it not being enough of a driving force. And so yeah, just kind of working on that now. But yeah, so that was a lot. I talk a lot like Brooke. So Nikki, it is your turn. Oh, by the way, Brooke, you're an incredible host. So I'm sorry if you were nervous. I couldn't tell, because you were incredible, and it was a blast. We really did have a lot of fun. So any in-person events, like, go. Brooke is so much fun. It was a blast. So.
It really was. And Kat, you don't talk a lot. I feel like I'm going to be probably like the most minor talker here, but I like talk, and then I'm done. So hello, everybody. I'm Nikki. I am Brooke's sister. So, well, oh gosh, there's so many Brooks. I'm Brooke Chicola's sister. And this is so funny, Kat. I feel like I have a lot of echoing of what you just said, but I'm So for those of you who don't know me, I'm a mama to 2 boys, full-time working mom. And honestly, when I first signed up for the in-person summit, I was like, what am I doing? What am I going to tell my work? It's 3 days off. At first, especially when we were going to St. Louis, I thought, oh, I'm traveling. So it felt a little weird to be in town, but not working. But honestly, it was one of the best decisions. Naturally, I'm really, really introverted. And I think I really just needed that time to get away in person with people. I'm needing kind of those girlfriends. I have 2 boys at home. Even my dog is a boy. So like surrounded by boys. So I needed some girl time, and it couldn't have been better, like a better planned time for me. And just being around like-minded women and really getting that fire back. I feel like I've been in a little bit of a slump. Therefore, my team has been in a little bit of a slump. And so to just get that like fire back in my belly, I really needed that in-person time. My biggest takeaway, I kind of had to laugh. I was like, I'm really old. Every time I leave one of these in-person events, I'm like, why am I so old? But I was probably like the lamest of the group, where I'm like, it's 9:30, it's time for bed. So no, anyways, my biggest takeaway was really that, like, just hearing everybody's struggles and knowing I'm not alone in not only like my fitness and wellness journey, but my coaching journey. That just hearing the lulls and the highs and the lows of everything, and that just hearing all the speakers and their different systems. I'm a very tangible, I really like practical advice. And so listening to all the different ways that people do things really solidified that there's not one right way to do this coaching thing. And that it's really about self-discovery. So kind of where we got like deep was really, again, what is your why? Who are you serving? What do you need to do to find your niche in this coaching business? Because there are a lot of coaches. So what do you have that's uniquely different that you can serve? And so just really digging into that. And again, that kind of led me to where Kat was, where I feel like I've had a really, really weak why up until now, and almost a shaky why. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to leave my job. And sometimes I'm like, no, I really like my job. And I don't know. So it shakes me a little bit. And so I think I'm in the really, really messy middle of kind of growing right now. Carl Deichler's speech at the end really got me. And I always use the word scrappy. It always had a negative connotation in my head. So he said, give us like scrappy. Oh gosh, now I'm going to forget it. Scrappy, relentless, something else. I'll have to remember, but it was amazing. But the scrappy part got me, because I always thought, gosh, that just sounds so negative. But really, when I started to think about it, that really, when I named my team Graceful Grit is a big thing for me. And I do feel like scrappy is kind of that term for me. Like that's that fire in your belly, that fighter spirit that you kind of need to have in this business, because it won't always be rainbows and butterflies. And so you need to kind of keep tailoring it and coming back and be scrappy. So I really, that keeps sticking out to me. And it's something that I'm bringing away and really starting to hone in on my own uniqueness of how I can be scrappy and kind of come back from the slump. So that is what I learned.
I love that. I think they played a part of his talk in the National Wake Up Call this week, like a portion of it. And it was so good. Like we were all just like, oh my gosh, Carl is spitting straight fire. Well, I actually wrote down one of the things that he wrote. Said, oh no, maybe I didn't write it down. The day you fail is the day you quit. And he's like, you might as well just write it on your calendar, the day you quit, and that's the day you failed. I was like, okay. So basically, there is no failing until you actively decide you are done coaching. which I just thought was so cool. So I am going to show you guys these couple slides, and I'll share my screen. And if anyone has any questions, you can feel free to put them in the chat, or maybe you guys saw anything and you watched some of the sessions that you were like, oh my God, this is like what really resonated with me. Like, please, like, go ahead and share this. Share screen always takes me a minute to do.
I would say too, one of the other things I have down in my notes that really stuck out to me that I forgot to mention is one of the coaches did say something about, she had her team do what is your roadblock, and she had them write it down and then rip it up. And that I felt was really powerful, because for a moment I was like, what is my roadblock? And it really made me think. And I think overwhelm is one of them for me. I become overwhelmed really easily, and then I paralyze. So I think just like really thinking about what is your roadblock and how you can get past that. So that was another thing that stuck out.
I feel like we should do that. I know we were kind of doing it, but kind of not. Like, we should actively, like, I'll take a picture and rip it up. That would be super cool. Okay. So post summit, what do we do now? How can we take action now before the next summit? And how can we use this momentum? And why is this important to talk about today? Yes, in Destin. Oh, that's a good goal. So I just made this quick little slide. And then Kat and Nikki, if you guys have anything else you want to add or something that you think would be great, like, please, like, jump in. But I love this idea of momentum, and it's not about speed. It's about momentum and being consistent. And Amwala in his 645 bod group even talked about this today. And it just clicked at 5 a.m. after my kids were up at 4:15. Like, I was miserable drinking my Energize in the basement, bringing it back to the roots of what I used to do 2.5 years ago. And he was talking about how so many people come to fitness with intensity and, all right, I'm going to start this. I'm going to do, cut all these carbs or cut this sugar. I'm going to do the diet plan. I'm going to do the workouts. I'm going to go all in. And by the end of the week, you are so burnt out. And then you don't do it again for a couple more weeks. And then you think, okay, all right, I feel better now. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to work out. And people burn themselves out over and over again because they're not looking at the big picture. They aren't looking at, what did he say in his workout today? The guy that learned how to carry a cow, he started with carrying a calf every single day until the cow grew. And then he was able to carry the cow. He didn't just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to carry a cow and pick it up. I don't know. I thought that was awesome. But this idea of consistency and momentum is just so crucial to this business. I know Brooke can speak to it being in it for 5 years. I can speak to it being in it for 2.5 years. And I know personally, even with coaching, I have burnt myself out from going, oh my God, I'm going to go hard. I'm going to go hard. I'm going to do this. And then it's like, oh, I haven't invited for a week because I'm exhausted because I just said 100 last week. And are there seasons where we push like 110%? Like, there are going to be seasons where you push, like, that just happens. That's business with launches and stuff. But it is more important to have momentum on your side and to be consistent to get to these long-term goals. It's the same as health and fitness. It's the same with coaching. So we are going to use all this excitement from Summit, and we are going to use it as momentum to keep going. So the number one thing you should do, and I'm not putting this plug in because I don't get anything back from this, but commit to going to Summit next year. I know it's scary, but commit to doing it now. And when I started coaching my first year, it was January. There was Summit that year and I didn't go. I was terrified. I'm like, well, how am I going to justify this to my husband? Like, what if he thinks it's just a silly thing? How am I going to get, going to find sitters? And I kind of regret it. Everything happens for a reason, but I look back at pictures and I'm like, dang, if I would have known that was the last in-person Summit until 2022, I would have gone. Like, darn it, I missed the boat. So if you are here tonight, you're on this call, if you want to learn more about coaching, or maybe you don't even know your why yet, don't think that you have to have this clear, perfect why, because I wanted Nikki to share and Kat to share so bad because they showed up for different reasons than me. Like I showed up because I'm running a business. Like I knew this would be good for my business and good for my communities. And I know Kat showed up and I'm so thankful she showed up and she was just there to see what it was about. And Nikki was in a place where, she's running the business, but she's also learning like what is her why. Like we all went for different reasons. So whatever your reason is, if you're in this, you want to do coaching and you want to find your why, go to this event. So commit to going next year. We have the dates, make it a priority, sign up, figure it out. The next one is make an active effort to build community with your team or use the team that we have now. Get to know the people in your groups, put yourself out there. And if you are a coach that's running a business, make an effort to get together. It doesn't need to be anything big and fancy. It can be meeting up at a coffee shop. It could be, doing dinner. I know even Brooke can maybe talk about like the first things that she did. I think there were some before me, but the first event that I hosted was literally just a local dinner for some of my coaches. And if a lot of your coaches on your team or even your challengers are far away, do something virtual, maybe like a virtual 5K, but find other ways outside of the business to get to know your people. I've really been digging into this a lot now that the world is more open. And August 5th, next week, not next week, couple weeks, we're doing like a Zumba at the park. And I told my husband, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put this together. It's going to be open to coaches, challengers. They can bring their friends, like really anyone. And it's just a great way for those of us that are doing this to get to know each other. And then other people can get exposed to it as well and can see how awesome our community is. So if you aren't doing this already, get out of your comfort zone because I am not a host. I am a party goer, not a party thrower. I've always said that. I'm so bad at hosting parties. Kat literally took care of me the whole time and all of us because I basically show up and I'm like, "Kat, we're here. Let's talk. Wait, we need to eat." But get out of your comfort zone and make that stuff happen and really start fostering the community that you want to have. Also, get clear on your vision and start working on your vision board. So, Dana's actually doing a call next week on vision. Get a head start. Look at your vision board. If you made one earlier this year, reflect on it. I know that's what I'm going to be doing that this week is look at like, what did I put on my vision board last December? Where am I now? Where am I going for the rest of the year? If you haven't made a vision board, if you're brand new, start just thinking about what your life could look like. And if you need help with vision, seriously, you could probably Google Moira Kusaba Vision on YouTube. She's wonderful and talks about it all the time. Or go to the Team Beachbody Coach 411 page. There are resources out there, but just start getting this idea of getting clearer on your vision and your why. Also, know this might change over time. It can go from just wanting to pay for your shakes to who knows what. That Pandora's box, man. And then make sure to get to that call next week. The next one, start writing out your goals for the next of the year. Again, look at where you're at. Start looking at, okay, where am I at in rank and income for the business? Where do I want to be before the end of the year? Do you want to go to Destin? What do you need to do to get to Destin? How can I strategize? Really break it down and then create an action plan based on your goals. So, what groups are you running? Are you going to be doing any sneak peeks? We actually have a coach sneak peek we are throwing tomorrow. Me and Brooke and Jody and Jess are going to be doing it. So get on it. Get some people, anyone that you've been talking to that might be on the border of joining, just ask if they want to join and watch. Like there's no harm in learning more things. And then the last thing, I just want you guys to walk away with an action item. I would love for everyone to share what is one area of coaching that they are struggling with that you are committing to working on and nailing this month. So it can be anything from you are brand new, you're starting, you're nervous to posting on social media, to inviting consistently, to I'm starting to run a team. How do I start building this community? So I would love to see in the chat, you guys can maybe type out what are some things that you are struggling with that you are committing to working on. and I can go first. I know for me, like I am really working on building up my coaches. I feel like you go on this roller coaster with coaching. Like you need to crawl and walk before you can run. So you start with, one step, you post, and then maybe you try and invite, then you try connecting and expanding. So I feel like I'm at a point. I remember last year being at a point where I felt like I wasn't really getting my challengers results. So I spent a lot of time last year focusing on how can I get people results and to fall in love with this community the same way that I did. Feel like I really nailed that. And now I'm like, all right, now how do I get my coaches and my working coaches the same results as my challengers and hammering in on that? So that is something I'm actually really committed to working on and focusing on for the rest of this month and into August and September, kind of leading up to Destin, because I want people on my team, if they want to go to Destin with me, like I want to get them there. Okay, so we've got struggling with expanding, inviting, already getting better since summit, talking to 4 different people right now. Yay! Expanding, connecting, and building relationships. Awesome. Yes, these are good things. So those are the things that I recommend, like taking action. I know these calls are wonderful, and sometimes even after summit, we can feel overwhelmed like there's all these systems and strategies and things that you can do. So if you have a chance to go back and watch the sessions, do that with that in mind on what you need to focus on that's going to get you to your goals. And again, Google. I remember watching a call from Micah Folsom on inviting. If you go to Google, go to YouTube, she has like a million power hours. Like there are resources everywhere, you guys. We are so blessed. So that is all I have. Nikki, Kat, is there anything else that you feel like we missed or should talk about?
No, I think you really covered a lot. But yeah, no, I know it can be hard to step up and try things or do things, but even if it starts out with just, being more engaged, whether it's pod groups or Facebook or Instagram, I mean, we just comment on each other's stuff or whatever, just kind of starting one of those conversations. I think it's really amazing what connections you can make. And Brooke had a surprise and invited Caitlin, and I'm like fangirling in the parking lot being like, oh my God, I've been like thinking that this person is so amazing, for the last few months. And then I meet her and I'm like, oh my God, there's so much in common, and like, it's so fun just to get to know people. And again, yeah, I know I'm very social. I know that's not everyone's thing. I recharge individually, but just having those, we've talked about a lot of different stuff, as women and things. And I think it's just really important having those different aspects in your life to be able to borrow that belief and to be filled up and to pour out into others when it's working. But yeah, I that's just reiterating that community is super important and what keeps us going, I think. So
I would just share right after summit, I went and just seen everybody's systems again. I was like, I need something different. So I went out and got a planner, and I sat down, and all it took me was 10 minutes. And I kept overthinking this for so long, of just a game plan for the week of like, what am I going to post about? And it has already helped me 100 times over, just with my mental capacity to be able to feel like I can handle this with working full time. So don't have that system yet and have that plan. That planning is so essential.
I want to see your planner. Send me a picture after. I can ask you that because you're my sister. Okay. I think that's it, unless anyone has any specific questions. Otherwise,
I was just gonna say, so the bigger like announcements, obviously it's in St. Louis next year.
yeah.
Job 1 looks incredible. What else, like bigger announcements? Like, did they talk much about like the My Fitness, the bike, or body, whatever,
Yes.
body and
That's so funny because we like arrived while that was happening, of course. but Body is going to be released, I believe, in August, and they're doing like a beta trial for anyone that has Nutrition Plus. So if you have an active Nutrition Plus subscription, you are going to be able to try it before anyone else. Come August, the Mix Fitness bike, they really didn't give too much information. I was expecting way more on like details on like what is this going to mean for us as coaches, and it was really just like a super cool video and overview of price. And I think they're going to have 2 different options, like a $12.99 bike, don't quote me because I'm probably off, and then like an upgrade option with like other at-home gym add-ons. We have Job 1, but I feel like
No, I was just curious. Like, did I miss anything else? But
no, I think
Great
those
enough.
are the big. They said August it will give more. Yeah, they were. It was very, very brief about the bike, and then the Job 1 program I felt like was pretty brief too. 20 minutes a day, which is great. And then
Mhm.
Body, I don't remember. Oh, Peppermint
trying to
Mocha is
think.
coming back.
Mhm.
That too. Sorry, I shouldn't say it like that. Peppermint Mocha is coming back. It's great. But yeah, I think that's it.
Mhm. Yay. I feel like Job 1 will be like Transform 20 again. Like, like the easiest program ever, at least for me.
My gosh. And we worked out with her. I don't know if anyone else in here did it. We were like, what? She's a beast.
Didn't we say she was like a crossover of Shaun T and Autumn?
Yep.
Is what it
Right.
like
She
was.
was like Penelope Cruz if she was a like what is that called? When they're in charge of drill sergeant, like a Penelope Cruz drill sergeant. It was awesome. It was so good.
I know. I was so curious. I'm like, is this because she's live and this is like her debut, or like is this really her? Like she was my core was on fire. She was. It's gonna be amazing. I think it's gonna be like, oh my gosh.
Huge. It's so easy to promote and so easy
Yes.
to
Awesome. Well, I will stop the
Okay.
recording.